everyone, welcome to my live stream. It is Monday, which means it's time for Inktober52. It's the weekly ink drawing challenge. I use the prompts that they send out. So the prompt for this week is power. I have my own theme that I also do on top of the prompts, which is griffins, practicing my griffin drawings. So I decided to use power as inspiration, looking up the most powerful bird in the world. And it's, of course, depends on what you're measuring by, but the first article I came across measured it by how much can they lift. And I think that makes sense, at least from a human perspective, power lifting and everything as a sport. Man, I'm trying to clean my glasses off, and there's this little crumb that just won't get off of here. Okay, I think I finally got it. Okay, that's better. And it turns out it's the harpy eagle, which I have drawn before. The specific time that I remember, I did someone's chibi character, which was like I think it was a griffin, actually. I think it was a harpy eagle griffin, but it also had like a Lolita outfit on it too. So it was a very interesting character. So I'm going to draw a more realistic harpy eagle griffin today. And I think I'm going to do what I did last week, which was just do a generic sort of big cat body for the back half of the griffin and just focus on the bird half. Because this picture that I found, which is on Wikipedia under harpy eagle, it's really dynamic, and I think that the back half of the griffin is just going to kind of get ignored anyway. So I don't have a reference image for my the back half of the griffin, but the front half I have this really awesome dynamic pose to work from. I'm just getting a drink of my delicious mineral water real quick. This bottle is awesome. I just got it last week. One of our neighbors had a garage sale and then had a pile of stuff that didn't sell, I guess, and it had a sign that said free, and so I took a look, and there's this awesome bottle, and it's Hydra Pack Recon, and it's got this twist top, so this is closed so it doesn't spill, and then you open it so that it lines up, and then you drink more like it's like from a cup. So the thing that's nice for me is that whenever I drink from a water bottle, there's like a good chance that I'll like spill it all over myself, because the water bottle opening is like this, but you know, your mouth only covers this much, and sometimes it spills out of the side if you're really thirsty. That's not happening with that bottle, so it's like my new favorite bottle. Anyway, let's take a look at what I'm going to be using today. I've been using the same kit all year long. This bag I got from a Mido why do I always say in the box? In a box. Mido in a box, which is a stationary surprise box that you can order. So that's where I got this bag. This is a sketchbook I'll be using, the official Inktober Moleskine partnership. And I got this and most of the items in here from the Inktober retreat last year. The next thing is the Creative Starter Set from Zebra, which has mild liner, double-ended markers, and fine liner pens in a variety of colors, plus black. And the last things that were from the Inktober retreat are these two brush pens with the same size middle size tip on one side, and then on the red one it has a small size tip as well. And they're actually starting to get a little bit dry, but that's okay because I actually got 2 of each. So when they run out, I'll have more. There are still a couple more things that I have in here, and that is my Palomino Blackwing pencil and a sharpener for when it gets dull. Okay, so let me fold this up and get it out of the way. There, good. I want another sip of water. I've hardly talked today, and then I start streaming and I'm talking for an hour and my throat is like, what are we doing? So I need my water to keep going. Okay, so let's get started. To be honest, I'm feeling really exhausted today. I don't know why. Well, I guess why is because I was, I kept getting really hot last night, and then I'd take the blankets off, and then I'd be really cold, and then I'd have to put the blankets back on, so I kept waking up and falling asleep, waking up and falling asleep. I think that's why I feel so tired. Oh, so tired. But this is the end of my work day now, so not too long before I can relax and have my hour of Animal Crossing that I do every night. Hour of Animal Crossing. Yeah. Okay. So we have this gutter in the middle. It's been a problem a couple times when I've done like a centered picture. Luckily, this reference image that I'm looking at is not centered at all. The head is like over here, and here's the body is like this, and the wings are up like this. So I don't think that'll be a problem. So I'll just put the head over here just like I'm seeing. Here's its neck. Comes down into a rather shallow chest, surprisingly shallow considering it's the strongest bird in the world. But, I mean, it's a bird, so it has different ways of being strong. Let's see. An article I was reading about it said that a lot of the strength comes from the talons. And those aren't even in this picture, so... Okay, so the head... What makes a harpy eagle so cool, I think, and I think a lot of people would agree, is that it has these big, rough feathers on the top. It's very griffin-like, actually. Like, a lot of people draw feathers sticking off of the top of the griffin's head, and it bothers me if it's based on a bird that doesn't actually have those feathers if it's the real world bird. But a harpy griffin is one where that's what it actually has, so... Did I say harpy griffin? Harpy eagle. I don't know what I said. Well, just in case, I didn't mean to say harpy griffin. Harpy eagle looks like a griffin. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, this one also has its mouth like wide open with its tongue going bleh. This is also an interesting reference image because I feel like you don't see the tongue of a bird too often. Even when my pet pigeons have been mildly sick for a little while and we have to give them medicine every couple weeks, and it still kind of surprises me when I have to, you know, it's medicine, you have to give it in their mouth and they don't like it. So it's still kind of surprising to see their little pigeon tongues being like, no, no, no. Just to think about it. Okay. So I'm getting a little bit too caught up in the details on the face. So I'm going to move on to getting the rest of the body set up. And then I'll go back. So the wing is going almost straight up. Like a little bit, like it's in between a 45. Or is this 45? This is 90. 45. It's a little bit higher than a 45-degree angle. And the wing closest is further down looking, and the wing farther from the viewer is actually a little bit past the straight up and down line in between here and here. And the feathers curve around. Another thing that I read about harpy eagles when I was doing my research, and now that I'm drawing it, I feel like I'm seeing it as well, like seeing it on this bird's body, is that apparently the wingspan is surprisingly short for how big and strong these birds are, but it explained that that is normal. I think this was on Wikipedia as well, that is normal for a bird that hunts in the jungle like these ones. So like there's lots of trees, it doesn't make sense to have a really big wingspan because it would just get caught on all the trees. At least that's, I think that's what they were trying to say by pointing out that it's a jungle bird. Okay, and then this wing is just massive. It goes all the way down. And it's interesting, this feather doesn't come up along the body like this, it actually comes in like this. And then there are the even more shorter feathers right here. Okay, I'm just going to do a general curved line to mark the edge of where all the feathers will be. And we'll do another one right, let's see, right about here for this row of feathers. There's the really long ones here, and then some more shorter, still rather large, and you can see each individual feather, but they're much shorter right here. And here's another different row. Okay. Now to add, now let's first do the legs. So the legs of the bird become the arms of the griffin. So we're going to move these up a bit more to where an arm might be. And since this reference image, I can't see the talons or anything, I'm just going to let it kind of fade off, fade away. Not try to make it up, I'll just leave it like that. So let's see, the back leg should be this. It doesn't look quite right. Whoops. The pencil stuck to my hand. I thought I was setting it down, but... where's my brush? Okay, just swiping these little eraser shavings into the trash can. As I hate making my room dirty. So I just swipe them on the floor, then I end up walking on them later, and then my feet are covered in eraser shavings. So I always try to keep my workspace tidy. Okay, so now, okay, I'm looking over at my dog Chappie because she's a perfect model for how should this back leg be. Okay, that's better. That's better. And big cats often have lovely squishy skin, like lots of rolls of skin. So that's what I'm going to add right in there where this top part of the leg is bending and becoming the foot. But I will bring the hips up a little higher to match better with the way the rest of this body is going. Back it's coming down like this. We'll just have the tail coming out. Okay, now to tackle the biggest thing, which is the feathers on the wings. Kind of intimidating. So I'll just start by making a line for the edge of each feather. And then they're actually, the farther up it goes, the more on top of the other ones the feather is. So now I'm going to start from the top down to make that rounded edge showing the end of the feather. There. Okay, doing the same thing with this one, with this row. And there's like a couple extra feathers here, it seems like. Okay. Now this part is not really such distinct feathers. It's very soft and fluffy looking. So I'm just doing like a scalloped edge. And then there are just like a few feathers, very soft and fluffy, sticking out. Two. And it's sort of the same thing, same pattern, a sort of scalloped edge a little bit. Some of it because of the feather's shape and some of it because of the feather's coloring. And then these really soft black feathers in between. Okay. All right, I think that's good enough. Oh, Exie, hello! How are you? Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you could make it. How have things been going? Have you had a good Monday? Well, I mean, it's probably Tuesday for you by now. Did you have a good Monday? Or at least, did you make it through? Make it through Monday? I kind of feel like I'm making it through. For some reason, I'm just so tired today. This is the last thing I'm doing, almost. So I guess just gotta get this done. Get my ink practice done for the week. I think this harpy eagle is fluffing up its neck feathers, maybe to make itself look big and intimidating. I mean, it's already big enough. But its neck feathers are definitely really fluffed up. They're not smooth and down. I made it through good. You're welcome. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Extra says, hope you have a better time after the stream than before. Yeah, thank you. That is very much appreciated. So it's not like it was a problem, but we did have a little bit of a unexpected thing happen last night. A huge branch fell off our tree. So we had to deal with that. Luckily, my sister was able to come over and chop it into firewood for us, so it's all taken care of now, but it's just on one of those, whenever there's an unexpected thing, it always drains my energy. I'm gonna make this beak a little bit more round. I realize now that I've drawn everything else that it's very round. Not just on the bottom, but the top is also like almost circular. And then there's a very distinct line right here. Okay, what else? I'll call it a crown of feathers because that's kind of what it looks like. There's a lot more than what I sketched so far, so I'm gonna add a few more lines to indicate those. And even though I can't see the talons in the reference image, so I'm just sort of leaving them off, there are these little lines all along, like almost like a zebra, all along the legs. So I'm going to add those in. They probably help with camouflaging the harpy eagle in the jungle. That's why they're like a kind of like a tiger too, like a black and white tiger. And then the coloring from the wings continues into the body a little bit here. Like that. There. The stripes also continue, not just on the legs, so I'm gonna, because it doesn't, like, where is it supposed to go? It's trying to go into with the, how am I going to say this? If it wasn't a griffin, this would be the tail. So it's trying to go into the tail. So I'm just going to bring it up into this mid part, for the middle part of the body. Bring those lines up in there, since there's a whole nother animal on a griffin. And I'm going to add this little feathers that I'm seeing. Lots of fluffy feathers on the bottom of the harpy eagle coming down, so I'm going to add some of those here too. So it's like smooth on the chest, but then on the farther down under the legs, it's got these like long silky feathers. Let's see, so I've got this leg, and they're just sort of fading off into nothing. Okay, so I'll draw a little bit of the heel of the other back leg. There. I'm putting some lines on here to show that these are supposed to be the ones on the opposite side, so they're like in shadow. Okay, good. I'm going to start inking now. Especially since it's about time. Been working on this for almost half an hour. Half an hour of pencil drawing, so half an hour of inking. Although I guess I'll hold this up first. So I'm going to show you my sketch lines. And then, yeah, the hands. I don't want to look for another reference image, so this is not going to have any hands. Okay. Oh, thank you. Exie says it looks perfect. Yay. If it looks like a convincing griffin, then I'll be happy. I'm going to start with the larger end and just do this outside part first. Larger end of this double-ended brush pen. I was gonna call it an ink pen, and I'm like, wait, yeah, it's an ink pen. That's not what makes it special, though. brush pen, brush pen. Do love brush pens. They make it go so much faster to ink with a brush pen. Even if you do still go over your lines to refine them afterwards, it's still much faster. I like these feathers on the head are like very squared off. I feel like so many, like most bird feathers have that kind of tipped like this, but the feathers on the top of the harpy eagle are just like as square as you could be while still being like an organic shape. Well, yeah, organic as not just in what am I trying to say? You know, because you can get perfect squares from like minerals and stuff. It's like perfect squares happen in nature, but not usually on a living thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, yeah, organic organism. Yeah. Okay, and then this wing in the background. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the smaller side. Man, I feel like my voice is so crackly today. I'm going to take another sip of water, see if that helps. Maybe it's just because I'm so tired today. And my voice is tired too. Yeah, I think I'll work from this side over. And the wings. When I'm working on a major illustration project, I like to count how many feathers are in the wings. At least these big feathers. But it takes too long to do that for a stream. Another interesting thing I learned about harpy eagles is that from what we humans have been able to decipher, it seems that in the wild their main diet is sloths. So that's really interesting. I've never really thought about animals that eat sloths or that anybody would eat a sloth. But apparently they do. Sloths and monkeys. They can carry, supposedly, up to half their body weight, so that's pretty crazy. Because of, let's see. Yeah, that's like flying away. For me, that'd be like 75, no, it'd be like 70 pounds. So I guess I can carry 70 pounds, but I can't fly away with 70 pounds. I can't run with 70 pounds, so... I still think it's pretty incredible. These birds could snatch like a 20-pound monkey or something. Or was it like, I think the birds weigh 20 pounds and they can snatch like a 10-pound monkey and fly away with it through the jungle. They are an apex predator, said Wikipedia, I believe, meaning that they are not, there's no natural predators of harpy eagles. Which makes sense. I think most eagles are apex predators. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I'll work on the wing in the background. Okay, and then the marking off the areas that need to be shaded in and adding these nice little stripes on the legs. Yeah, they're like flying tigers or something. The brush pen is also nice for making these stripes. Very, very nice. I love brush pens. Okay. The neck. Yeah, the neck is next. The neck is next. Neck next. Oh, there's like a crow or something making some noise outside of my window right now. Fluffy, fluffy neck. It's in either attack mode or defense mode. Either way, it wants to look menacing, I think. Okay, nice. The main inking is done. Now I'm going to use this other pen that is the same exact thing, but I'm using it for filling in stuff. So I'm going to fill in this leg that's on the opposite side. And I think I'll do the same thing with this one, even though I went through the effort of drawing the lines on it. Since it's on the opposite side, I'm gonna just put it in shadow, or at least a lot of it in shadow. Maybe I'll let the shadow kind of fade or lighten. Yeah, something like this. There, it's not completely in shadow, but it just goes from dark to light. And here, I'm not really adding shadows. Instead, I'm adding lines to help look like feathers. So there's lots of teeny tiny feathers on this wing, on the top side of the wing. There's so much bird song at my house today. I wonder if it's coming through on the microphone. Because I have my window open. Of course, if the bird song is coming through, then the traffic noise might be coming through too, or the airplanes. Oh, it does. Cool, you can hear all the lovely birds outside with me. I mean, I'm not outside, but you can hear it with me, but not outside. The with me went with the hearing part. We have a maple tree out back that way, and it's just full of birds. And it's actually, the maple tree itself is not on our property, it's just right behind our fence, so it grows over our yard. Oh, and then it suddenly goes a little eerily quiet. Lovely. Lovely. These feathers are in reality more like I think it was described as a slate gray. But I just using the black ink and just not filling it in 100%. And then that way it also gets a feather texture and doesn't look quite as dark as like this part right here where it's just completely filled in. Oh, bird song is starting up again. Okay, so get these feathers on the ruff. I'll call it a ruff because it's so fluffy. How are we doing on time? Got about 20 minutes. So I think we're not doing bad, actually. My mind feels a little slow because of the sleepiness. So I suddenly felt like, oh no, what time is it? But we're fine. Okay, got the neck feathers all done. Now these feathers, they're a darker gray than the white part of the bird, but they're not this dark. These ones are, so I'll do these ones real quick, but I think I'll use my markers over here to do the face, and then that way it won't be so difficult to imagine the different colors of the feathers. Ah, but the beak though, the beak is back to that dark gray. And in the shadow it actually almost looks black. And down here is the same thing. Yeah, it almost looks like a, what is it called? There's like this dark, like onyx or something. There's this dark stone that's very black, but it's shiny. This is what it looks like to me. Okay, the eyes are very hard to tell what color they are, except in a very small spot like here and here. Otherwise it looks all black. And this is in shadow here. And right here, I'm not sure if it's just shadow or if it's the feathers being a different color, but there's this really dark patch here, so I'll add that in with the black ink too. Alright, let's move on to the wings. Some of these feathers I would actually call black, but they're also very like thin and well, ironically, they're like feathery. They're feathers, so of course they're feathery, but they're very soft and translucent. That's a better word, translucent. So even though the color itself seems the darkest of any feather I've seen on the rest of the bird, it's still not 100% opaque, so it still has a sort of grayish look in areas. Oh, there goes an emergency vehicle. That siren out there. We live fairly close to a fire station, so it's not uncommon to hear the sirens going off here. I mean, of course, it's better if they don't need to go off, because then that means there's not some emergency happening, but it's also nice to know that they're close by if we have an emergency. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of texture. There's like a pattern among the feathers. Black and white, like a dappled, yeah, a dappled effect. So I'm trying to get that with this pen on here, because it goes down into these fully black feathers. And then there is a bit more white along this line. So I'll leave a little bit open. There, that's good. Here, the dappled look is just along the edge. Dappled coloring pattern on the feathers. And then here's some more of these black feathers. It's translucent black feathers. Alright, time for the big feathers. And actually I think maybe I will use the marker for this as well, because all of these, they have sort of this stripe pattern on them, but it's all very gray. Much more like the face than the rest of these dark gray feathers on the rest of the body. So let's see. Yeah, so let's just move on to the marker. And where's my swatch page? Ooh. Which one? And I guess I could use both of these grays. They're so weird though. This one looks green next to this one, but they're both a kind of gray. But what the heck, let's just use them both. Oh, well, I guess I'll hold it up to show what I did with the black ink, because once I finish with the markers, then I will be done with this piece. Oh, I'm glad I held it up. I forgot to draw in the toes on the back feet. So I'll do that real quick. Oh, thank you. Actually says, so good. Yay, thank you very much. Keep practicing drawing a griffin a week, and then one day I won't need any reference images and I'll just be able to draw it. Draw it from imagination. Okay, I think this is, yeah, this has got to be the lighter one. I'll use the chisel tip. I'll use the chisel tip. I'm following the way the feathers seem to be growing back this way to make these marks. And it like fans out around the head. And I'm not sure, even though I've used this so many times now, I'm not sure how marker safe these ink pens are, so I'm trying not to touch the ink too much. Okay, so I'll leave that and then go on to the light gray parts of these wings, which is mostly just in this. So I'll just fill this in with this light gray marker. Like, what is this? What is it called? It's just called gray. Almost done. There. Okay, now while this is drying, I'll go back to the head and use this darker marker. And I'll use this small end, the bullet tip, to help bring this like dark patch here into the rest of the face, and to add a little bit of texture. And like right here is darker than the rest of the face because I think it's this like that leathery skin that birds have. I think that's showing up there before all the feathers start growing out. And also there's just these shadowy areas where the feathers are lifting up in layers to puff out, and then they're just casting a shadow. So I'm going to add some marker in there to make it even more defined. And right here, just like a little bit of shadow, showing a little bit of shadow. And here too. And maybe just a little bit here to make it more textured. Alright, that's good enough. Now, going back to the chisel tip, but on this, what is this one called? So the other one's called gray. Oh, this one's called dark gray. Oh, you heading out, Exie? Thank you for coming. Okay, Exie says I gotta go now. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you another time this week. Sweet dreams. Bye. Okay, so now I'm just adding that last pattern onto these wing tips, and then I'll be done with this one. This is definitely not a precise color matching. This is the closest I've got in my kit. Let's see, it goes up at least 2 more rows. And I'm going to make it thinner and thinner as it gets closer to the next layer of feathers. And then it actually has a sort of, almost like the bark on a tree pattern. It's coming out from this layer. So I'm just going to do little dots to suggest that I can't really replicate that with ink and marker, not with what I have here anyway, so just a suggestion, visual suggestion. And I'll do a little bit coming off of these stripes as well, because they're not perfectly they don't have a hard edge, they have a more dappled edge. As again, since it's a forest creature, like a rainforest creature, it makes sense. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so, but that's not all. There's this row of feathers. I'm adding its stripe pattern. Okay, and then it's got another one, and it's thicker toward the bottom and thins toward the top. And then one last thing. It's almost like just little lines. It's very thin. Oh, and these should be black too, so let me get my ink pen back out actually. Oops, on the smaller end. So the pattern on this feather is quite different from the others. And then there's just occasionally a little extra stripe here and there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Oh! Yes, more areas to do black on the body here. Bring these stripes into it. And I think what I'll do, because the tail is striped like the wings, but darker, like the outside part of the wings. So I'm going to imagine that this pattern is continuing to come back here and that it's continuing onto the tail. Kind of like a tiger tail becomes. Yeah, let's just say that it's tiger tail. So this pattern is actually inspired by the bird's tail, but since it's a griffin, it's like a tiger kind of. And I could make these legs tiger legs. Yeah, let's just do it. I've got 4 minutes, so that's plenty of time to add some fun tiger stripes. And I'm not an expert on tigers, but I've drawn them a couple times, so I think I can make something that's good enough. Even if it's not 100% accurate, it'll look enough like a tiger, I think. Good enough. Yeah, I'll leave I was thinking about making the claws dark, but I think I'll leave them. The only other thing is the tongue, and it's a very distinct pink area that everything else is so gray. So I'm gonna use my pink mild liner and make a pink tongue. So it stands out just as much in my drawing as it does in the reference image. There, nice. Yay! That's good. Let's call it good for today. So, how have I been writing this? Okay, Inktober52. And this was strong. And today's date, the 12th of June, 2023. Yay! Oh, that was fun. I like how the pattern came out, and it's nice because I didn't try to be so precious with coloring inside the lines, and I still think the overall effect was nice. So here's the close-up view of today's Inktober drawing. A harpy griffin mixed with, I guess, a tiger now. It was just a generic big cat in the beginning, but now it's become a tiger. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Let's see if we can fit it all in the frame, maybe. Sort of. There it is. Yay! Another Inktober52 done. Let's see, 52. We're on 20 something. So we're getting close. Let's see, 23. 52 is 25. So we're getting very close to halfway. Almost halfway done with this year-long challenge, which I had never done this challenge before, so it's pretty exciting at how many drawings I've done so far. Let's see. Yeah, my sketchbook's getting close to halfway done. Alright, anyway, that is it for today. I will be back on Wednesday for a lucky dip with 4 random art supplies and my Swordsman reference photo collection book. So hopefully see you then. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching.